Automation and defaults are not just revered in IT and behavioral science. A lot of what we do in a day is absolutely run on those two things: our automatic thoughts and our defaults that we rely upon to do many things just without conscious effort. Now think about this. If you drove today or sometime last week, do you really remember how you got from point A to point B? Probably not. Researchers even looked at, is it that we do pay attention but we forget so quickly? No. Apparently, our brain has established systems where we can run these automatic tasks without really engaging our conscious brain, just because we do these so often that they are not taking that much brain capacity, not taxing us. So why are we talking about that today? Last week, when I invited you to adopt systems over goals, such that you can adopt routines, processes, and habits that if you were to adopt them and deploy them at a regular cadence, you will have made the investment that leads you to the outcomes that you really desire. The problem is, the biggest hurdle in successfully implementing systems is that we constantly go back to old defaults and old habits. These old habits are often ingrained in the automatic part of our brain. So that's a problem. And in this video, we'll tackle that problem so that you can successfully implement goals and systems that lead you to the goals that you want. A psychologist and a neuroscientist, Lisa Feldman Barrett, she said the brain's main job is not thinking. The main job of the brain is to regulate all the systems, especially as it relates to metabolizing. Well, if that is the case, the brain is very committed to focusing on the metabolic processes in our body rather than consciously engaging in making every decision you make. You know, we typically average person makes about 70 decisions a day. If somebody is in a formal authority, any leadership position, you probably are making double, triple, quadruple the number of decisions. So if that is the case, how likely is it that you will consciously give due consideration to every option to make the most optimal decisions every single time? You're very likely going to rely on your automatic habits and thinking and defaults. Now, what is the problem if you were to engage in default behavior? Our default preferences and behaviors probably emerged from years of success somehow. The things that we did either always worked out or didn't hurt us too much. So over time, the brain learned through this positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement that this is okay, this is a safe course of action. Running on an autopilot disallows you to pay attention to the context, especially as it changes. And that is one of the things that's happening rapidly in the business environment, is that the context changes really fast. And if you are on autopilot, there's a huge possibility you miss out on the nuances that could have helped you predict the change of the course. And every little change matters. If I were to share one analogy that really I find super important in helping me pay attention to the shift in the trends, or even in things, the context that matters, is taken from aviation. They have this rule called 1 in 60. And the idea is that if an airplane or any aircraft, if it deviates from its path by 1 degree, for every 60 miles, the plane ends up off the course by 1 mile. Now imagine if I were to take a plane from Toronto to London, England. That is approximately 3,600 miles away. That is about 60 miles off from the Heathrow Airport. So that is a big problem, landing in a place that is not what you expected just because you didn't pay attention to that very tiny deviation. 1 degree. But 1 degree can add up. That is the power of compounding effect. And the same thing happens whether something is positively deviated or negatively deviated. So let me talk to you about this. People feel that, well, you know what? I can predict my future. If I stay the current course, I will get where I need to go. Yes, if the current course is one of intentional action, where you are paying attention to your context, where you are not just mindful of setting those routine habits and processes, but you're monitoring them. And you're monitoring them regularly. And every single time you make an extra effort to top that up so that you continuously are on a positive trajectory to where you want to go. But for those people who think, you know what, I just need to do what I'm doing right now, I could cruise, you more often than not only don't stay on that path, you end up somewhere completely different in a state of crisis or failure because you decided to not pay attention to that 1 degree of deviation. So the future state is never that straight path. You won't be where you are today. Not 6 months from now, not 1 year from now. So really you have two options. You can either grow and make progress towards the outcomes that you wanted, or digress and drift away from your desired future state. So when is the best time to start? Well, the best time to start is now. If we go back to the 1 in 60 rule from aviation, it does teach us that every single degree of deviation matters. And it doesn't matter where on your course you are, it is going to compound to have an impact. The good news is all is not lost. Keeping an eye on the ball means paying attention to the context as it changes, paying attention to measuring how you are succeeding in honoring the commitments that you made with regards to your routines and your habits and processes. And if you feel that the struggle is real, that's where you can hire or engage co-pilots. You can have a peer support you with accountability. You can have a coach who can serve as that external lens, who objectively provides you feedback about how you're doing in accomplishing the goals you set out for yourself. It's never too late to check out of that autopilot, not for everything, but things that matter the most to you. Hopefully the tips that I have shared allow you to not let autopilot run your life, not let these defaults and automatic thinking or old habits dictate whether you will be able to accomplish the goals that really matter to you. I wish you the best, and I would love to hear if you have a certain strategy that has helped you stay the course and reach your desired outcomes. Thank you for watching.